Hello guys, in this video I want to show you how I created this tree inspired by Studio Ghibli. It will be a video where we will see all the process, creating the tree first in Blender and then finish it in UE5. We will be able to change its shape and color, so stay tuned. Each leaf of the tree rotates in the direction of the camera. This is the real secret to making the tree very cartoon and Ghibli style. If you find the video interesting, do not hesitate to subscribe to the channel. I'm using this technique in gaming, precisely for my open world maps. They are a little more heavy in terms of performance, but I think the final result is better than the regular tree. Let's start immediately with Blender. Let's create a cube that will serve as a reference for the size of the leaves. Let's make 20 centimeters for 2 meters. Let's enable Sampling Tree Gen under the Blender's preferences. And under Curves, Geometry and Presets, let's create the tree Japanese maple. Now we set the leads. We check the lead visualization and we choose the rectangular shape. We increase the number of leaves to 75 and we change the leaf scale to 1.64 and 0.40 for this other value. These are the leaves that we are going to modify, from cards to quad polygons. In this regards, we add a remesh modifier. We decrease the voxel size. We try to create polygons about 20 cm large, as the width of the reference rectangle. Let's do 0.3. As you can see, this tool generates quad polygons instead of the previous leads. We add a displace modifier. We set the strength to a lower number, trying to be careful about the size of the polygons, always in reference to the rectangle. So it's fine. We create another displace and this time we add a texture Voronoi. We go back to the modifier and we do an apply. This will make the quad polygon surface more diverse. Our shape is almost ready. At this point we have to select all the polygons and reset the faces. Select all in edit mode with A, and with the right button we reset the UVs. In this way, each face will have a separate UV and will allow you to match an image for each polygon that can be changed in size in UE5. At this point, we export our tree in FBX. In this case, I select both meshes, the trunk and the leaves. We can import our meshes into our Real Engine. First of all, I created 3 folders where we will put the materials, the meshes and the textures. We import our new tree. we start creating the material that will make up the leaves. We will have to create a material in this way. For the material, we create an instance material, which will inherit the parameters to the master material, allowing us to dynamically change all the necessary values, such as the color and other data that we will see shortly. Okay, this is the material that we are going to compose, and we will see its creation step by step. But first, let's take a quick look at the material instance, just to make you understand what we are going to do. There are various categories such as color, the billboard, and wind. In the master material, it is important that the blend mode is unmasked. Under the mask, we have our texture that will compose the shape of the leaves. You can find the alpha in the description. There are various categories such as color, the billboard, and wind. The color speaks for itself. It defines the color of the leaves. The hue shift determines a color variation. The underside color determines the amount of color of the underside color. Normal add defines how much the color variation is present in the leaves. And normal power defines a shade between the two colors. It's possible to play with these parameters to have very customizable trees. There is also another node linked to saturation. Here instead is for the wind. Okay, now we can start creating all the magic. Let's start with the creation of the material. Starting from the base color, then there is the billboard part and the wind part. Let's start with creation of the color. 3 plus left mouse button. And with the right button, we convert it to a parameter. Here you can group the various data, to find them more ordered later. Let's create a multiply. And create a scalar parameter. Let's call it underside color. And here we have the U-shift. Both connected to the lerp. Its alpha is composed of these nodes: vertex, normal, W view, S, which goes to a breakout 3 float components. Under the letter B, add an add node. Now a power node and then a 1-. Add a numeric parameter of 0.5 attached to the multiply. Here we take two scalar parameters, while here we have a saturation node. I correct quickly. Let's put a -1 before it was inverted. At this point, we have created all our color values. While the billboard determines the size of our leaves. As you can see, in this case, the parameters are all 0 and the leaves do not react as they should. We can increase the values until we get the result we want. Let's create our simple wind, to which the billboard system will be attached under the last node. Let's generate the wind. Let's attach the main node to the world position offset. Now let's create our billboard system. Let's start with the texture coordinate, a -1 node, multiply, subtract. expression constant 2 vector, we change the x to -1 and this one to 1. An append vector. Let's add a transform vector and we change from tangent space to camera space, and from world space to local space. This is the math for rotating the leaves towards the camera. Then a normalize, a multiply with another scalar parameter, to copy a transform vector again. This time from local space to world space. Finally, let's add these last nodes with two scalar parameters. Let's drag the texture inside the material and match it to the opacity mask. At this point, just create the material instance from the master material, if you haven't done so far, and apply the material to the mesh, as I did initially. Now a little consideration. The mesh created with Blender defines the shape of the leaves. To make a practical example, here is another tree. I will load the tree that you saw at the beginning of the video, which has a slightly smaller polygons. This changed the shape of the tree. Sorry, here there is a small problem related to the saturation node. I quickly modify it to have a nice full grain. Okay, as you can see, the shape of the leaves is slightly different. The tree on the right is richer, has more polygons, and the leaves are more dense. You have to find a compromise between quality and performance. Here we can see well. There is a little more detail in the part of the leaves on the right, as you can see in some specific points, as in this case. This part of the foliage is more complex also. For each tree, I created different material instances. A little tip. Increasing the intensity scale of the skylight, the color is a little brighter. And it will remove some graphic artifacts relative to the shadow of the leaves. Thanks for following the video. I hope it could be helpful for your projects. This here is a tree that I managed to obtain after several attempts. And I think the result is quite interesting. And the way to get there too. I tried to keep the process as simple as possible, with free software like Blender or UE5. See you at the next tutorial. Thanks for following me. Bye!